Dear friends, I really need your support. Please subscribe to my channel and help me out. Thank you so much. I never imagined I'd be sharing this story, but after the chaos at my sister's engagement party last weekend, I need to get it off my chest. Buckle up, because this gets intense. I'm Emily, 28, working in tech marketing, more on that later. My younger sister Sophie, 23, has always been the family favorite, pampered by our parents, especially our mom, Karen. Growing up, I learned to fend for myself, knowing family support was mostly reserved for Sophie. She got engaged to her boyfriend, Ethan, 3 months ago. Ethan's a solid guy, an accountant pulling in about $60,000 a year. Meanwhile, I've been with my fiancé, Michael, for 4 years, planning a modest wedding in 2 months. A simple gathering with close friends and family. Sophie, however, had her heart set on a $40,000 dream wedding. A designer gown, a stunning venue, the whole fairy tale package. Problem is, neither she nor Ethan could afford it, and our parents, dad's a construction worker, mom's a part-time office assistant, don't have that kind of cash either. They were already stressing about funding even a basic wedding. Last Saturday, Sophie's engagement party was held at our parents' house, with about 20 guests, family and a few friends. I was genuinely happy for her, despite our strained relationship, and brought a thoughtful gift to show support. The evening was going smoothly until dinner. Mom had prepared an elaborate chili, aiming to impress everyone. As we sat around the table, Sophie started gushing about her wedding plans. "We found this amazing venue," she said, eyes sparkling. "It's a historic estate with sprawling gardens. The full package is around $40,000, but it'll be absolutely perfect." Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "Soph, we've talked about this, that's way beyond our budget. But I've dreamed of this forever," Sophie snapped, cutting him off. "I deserve my perfect day." Mom jumped in, her tone overly sweet. "Of course you do, honey, every girl deserves her dream wedding." I could feel the tension building. Dad looked stressed, staring at his plate. Trying to diffuse things, I said, "There are plenty of gorgeous venues that cost less. I'm sure you'll find something amazing." Sophie pouted. "But I want that venue." Mom's eyes got that calculating look I remembered from childhood, the one that meant she was about to prioritize Sophie at my expense. "Actually," she said slowly, "I have an idea." The table went quiet. Even Sophie looked intrigued. Mom turned to me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Emily, your wedding's in 2 months, right?" "Yeah," I said warily. "And it's just a small, simple thing, isn't it? Michael and I want something intimate, yes." "Well," Mom continued, her voice turning falsely cheerful, "what if you delayed your wedding? Just for a year or so? That way, Sophie could have her dream wedding first, and you could help pay for it since you're doing so well." The room froze. My heart pounded. "Excuse me," I managed. "Think about it," Mom pressed, her tone growing sharper. "Sophie's younger, she should go first. Your wedding's so basic anyway, you could wait and make Sophie's day special." I glanced around. Sophie nodded eagerly, Ethan looked mortified, and Dad avoided eye contact. Everyone else stared at their plates. "Mom," I said carefully, "Michael and I have been planning this for months. We've paid deposits, sent invitations. Those can be canceled," Mom interrupted, waving a hand. "Come on, Emily. Sophie needs this. You've always been the responsible one. Can't you step up for your sister?" It felt like a bad dream. "You're asking me to cancel my wedding and pay for Sophie's." "It's not canceling, it's postponing," Mom snapped. "And you make good money in tech. $40,000 isn't a big deal for you." Here's the thing. I've kept my career vague with my family. I told them I work in marketing, which is true, but I downplayed it, letting them think I earn around $80,000 to avoid money drama. In reality, I make a lot more, but I keep that private to avoid situations exactly like this. "Mom," I said firmly, "I'm not canceling my wedding or paying for Sophie's." Sophie's face crumpled. "But Emily, you know how much this means to me." "Then you and Ethan need to figure out how to afford it like every other couple," I replied. Mom stood up, her chair screeching. "How can you be so selfish?" she yelled. "Your sister needs help, and you're acting like money matters more than family." "It's not about money," I said, trying to stay calm. "It's about you asking me to give up my wedding. You don't deserve happiness when Sophie needs it." Mom screamed, her face red. "Sophie's always been the good daughter, the one who cares about family. You've always been cold and distant, and now you're proving it." The room was stunned. Sophie was teary but didn't stop Mom. Ethan looked like he wanted to vanish. Dad finally muttered, "Karen, calm down." "No," Mom shrieked. "I'm sick of Emily acting like she's better than us. She's got all this money and won't even help her sister have one perfect day." I stood up, my voice steady. "I'm done discussing this. Sophie, I'm happy for you, but plan a wedding you can afford. I'm leaving." I headed to the kitchen to grab my purse, but Mom followed, still yelling, "You're not walking away. Sophie needs that money, and you're going to give it to her." "No, I'm not," I said, reaching for my bag. That's when I heard a clatter behind me. I turned to see Mom grabbing the pot of chili from the stove, still simmering, scalding hot. "If you won't listen," she snarled, "maybe this will make you." Before I could move, she dumped the entire pot down my back. The pain was instant, unbearable. I screamed and collapsed as the burning liquid soaked through my blouse, searing my skin. The burns would later be classified as extensive second-degree across my upper back and shoulder. Chaos erupted, Sophie crying, "Mom, what did you do?" Dad shouting, "Karen, are you insane?" Someone called 911. I tried to pull off my blouse, but people yelled at me to stay still. All I could feel was agony. Then the front door slammed open. What the hell is going on? It was Michael, my fiancé, who was supposed to pick me up at 8 p.m. Through my pain, I heard him take charge, talking to the paramedics who just arrived, demanding answers. Mom was sobbing, claiming it was an accident, that she lost control for a moment. Michael's voice was icy. "You threw boiling chili on your daughter because she wouldn't pay for Sophie's wedding." As paramedics cut away my blouse and treated my burns, I heard Michael on the phone. "This is Michael Reed. I need the managing partner now. Tell them it's about the Carter account, urgent." Carter account. Michael worked in finance, but what was this? Then he was on another call. "Mom, get the jet ready. Emily's hurt. We're flying to the private hospital in Denver tonight." "Yes, the one the family uses." Jet, private hospital. Even through the pain, I realized Michael had been as secretive about his background as I'd been about mine. As the paramedics prepared to move me, he knelt by the stretcher. "Babe, I know you're hurting, but I need to tell everyone something. I should have done it sooner." He stood and faced my family, who looked shell-shocked. "You seem to think Emily should sacrifice her life to fund Sophie's wedding because she earns decent money in marketing," he said, his voice calm but cutting. "There's been a misunderstanding." Mom nodded, tears streaming. "She's always been good with money, and Emily doesn't just work in marketing," Michael cut in. "She's the chief marketing officer at Reed Innovations. She earns more in a month than most do in years." She kept it quiet to avoid family drama over money. Mom's face went pale. "Reed Innovations," Dad whispered. "The tech company." "My family's company," Michael said. "Emily and I met when she consulted for us 4 years ago. She was so brilliant, we made her CMO, the youngest in our history." Sophie stared at me like I was a stranger. "But that's not all," Michael continued, his voice colder. "The wedding you just assaulted Emily to stop. The small, simple one. It's costing $150,000. The venue alone is pricier than what you wanted Emily to give Sophie. We called it intimate because we're only inviting people who care about her." Mom collapsed to the floor, literally. "And one more thing," Michael said, looking at Sophie. "Emily was going to gift you $10,000 for your wedding. She's been saving for it, wanting to help you have a special day, without sacrificing her own happiness." Sophie burst into tears. "Olivia, I didn't know. That gift was contingent on you treating Emily with respect," Michael said. "Clearly, that's not happening." As they loaded me into the ambulance, I heard Michael on the phone again. "Yes, I want a restraining order. Assault with intent to harm. No, I don't care if it's family. Include the wedding venue and all events." The next hours were a haze of hospitals, doctors, and pain meds. The burns were serious, extensive second degree, requiring weeks of recovery and therapy. But here's where things get wild. While I was in the hospital for 5 days, Michael hired his family's lawyer to investigate my family's finances. They uncovered that Mom had been dipping into Sophie's college fund for over a year, gambling it away at casinos. Sophie had no clue. She'd been working extra shifts, thinking she was helping with expenses, not knowing Mom had blown her education money. 3 weeks after my discharge, Michael showed Sophie the financial report. She sobbed for hours. "I'm so sorry, Emily," she said. "I thought Mom and Dad were just struggling with wedding costs. I had no idea she was lying about everything." "Did you know she'd throw chili on me?" I asked. "No, God no. I saw her getting worked up, but I never thought I should have stopped her." Sophie wasn't malicious, just spoiled and manipulated by Mom for years. Ethan, horrified by the incident, didn't dump Sophie right away, but insisted they pause wedding plans until she could prove she was working on financial independence and addressing family issues. The real twist came months later, as I recovered. Michael's lawyers dug deeper into Mom's finances, revealing she owed $50,000 in gambling debts. She'd planned to use the $40,000 she demanded from me to clear those debts, not fund Sophie's wedding. In her warped mind, she thought she'd win back money for Sophie later. Dad, devastated to learn about the gambling, separated from Mom and filed for divorce. He'd been clueless, working overtime to help with wedding costs while Mom spiraled. Then the story went viral. Tech exec burned by Mom over wedding money, hit local news, then social media. People worldwide shared their own stories of family financial abuse. 3 production companies offered to buy my story for a TV movie. Michael negotiated a $75,000 deal, plus royalties. What do you want to do with it? He asked while I was still bandaged. Start a foundation, I said instantly. And so, the Fresh Start Foundation was born, helping people escape abusive family situations with funds for housing, job training, therapy, and medical costs, everything needed to break free. The irony, Mom's assault birthed something that's helped hundreds escape the kind of manipulation she put me through. But Michael had more surprises. I did some extra digging, he told me during a doctor's visit. Your mom's gambling was worse than we thought, and she was sending Sophie thousands, claiming it was from you. What? I was stunned. Over 2 years, about $15,000, he said. She took credit card cash advances and told Sophie you were secretly helping with rent, groceries, and loans. Sophie thought you'd been bankrolling her life. That explained why Sophie felt entitled to ask for wedding money. She thought I'd already been funding her. I knew she needed the truth. 2 weeks post-hospital, Sophie visited me. Before I could speak, she said, I've been thinking and I'm making changes. Sophie, there's something you need to know, I said gently. The money you thought I sent for rent and loans. It was Mom using stolen credit card money and saying it was from me. Her face paled. She lied about that too, $15,000 of lies. She cried quietly, devastated. I thanked you so many times, and you must have thought I was nuts. I felt guilty asking for wedding money because I thought you'd already given so much. I just thought you were being sweet, I admitted. I'm so sorry, Emily, she said. I was living in Mom's fantasy world. I want to pay for her therapy, she's got a serious gambling problem, but I also want to make things right with you. I'll pay back every cent she stole, even if it takes a decade. You don't have to, I started, but she insisted. I've been unfair, expecting you to sacrifice for me. I'm getting a full-time job, moving out, and learning to be independent like you. I was proud. Sophie had never sounded so mature. She and Ethan had split as he wanted a partner focused on love, not a fairy tale wedding. She agreed he was right. The foundation grew fast. The TV deal brought publicity, and donations rolled in. A tech billionaire gave $100,000, and domestic violence groups partnered with us. Within 6 months, we'd helped over 50 families escape abuse. Then Ethan called me. I feel like I need to do something, he said. I'm an accountant, and I've been researching family financial abuse. I want to volunteer for your foundation, teaching people budgeting and credit skills to stay independent. Ethan had his own history of family financial control, which made him passionate about helping others. He built workshops that became a hit. Surprisingly, Sophie started attending them. I realized I know nothing about money, she told me. Mom always handled it, and I assumed someone would take care of me. Ethan's teaching me to manage my life. Watching Sophie learn to budget was like seeing her grow up. She got a second job, moved to a tiny apartment, and started paying me back for Mom's stolen money. I don't want to live off stolen cash, she said firmly. Over time, Sophie and Ethan reconnected, not romantically at first, but as friends navigating financial independence. He's proud of me, Sophie said, amazed. Not for being cute or agreeable, but for working hard and managing my money. 8 months after the party, they started dating again, but differently. We go Dutch on everything, Sophie laughed. We have budgets, and save for our own goals before thinking about shared ones. It feels honest. The foundation kept growing, with referrals from therapists and even judges. One woman, Lisa, escaped a family that controlled her paychecks, using our help to get her own apartment and job. She sent us a photo of herself cooking in her own kitchen, thrilled to buy groceries with her own money. Mom got 200 hours of community service and 2 years probation for the assault, plus mandatory gambling addiction therapy. Dad, now divorced, moved to a small apartment and started attending support groups for spouses of addicts. Sophie landed a job as a marketing assistant and moved into her own studio, working through years of being the golden child in therapy. Michael and I had our dream wedding at a Napa Valley vineyard with 150 guests. Sophie was there, helping me get ready and reading a poem during the ceremony. Dad walked me down the aisle, tears in his eyes, as we worked on rebuilding our bond. Mom wasn't invited due to the restraining order, and I wasn't ready to forgive her yet. At the reception, I gave a speech. Some of you know the road to this day was rough, I said. Someone close to me thought I didn't deserve happiness if it didn't serve someone else's needs. But I've learned happiness isn't earned by sacrificing yourself, it's built with people who value you. I toasted Michael, Sophie, Dad, and our supportive guests. The applause was electric. Post-honeymoon in Italy, I found a letter from Mom, apologizing and explaining her gambling desperation. She hoped for a chance to prove she'd changed. I wasn't ready to reply but kept the letter. 6 months later, Sophie called, excited. I met someone, Nathan, a teacher where I volunteer. He's kind, funny, and doesn't care about my family drama or lack of money. Nathan admired her independence, and Sophie said, "Seeing you build your life taught me I could too. You saved me from becoming like Mom." A year later, Sophie and Nathan got engaged, planning a $5,000 community center wedding they're funding themselves. Sophie asked me to be her maid of honor, and Michael and I contributed to their honeymoon fund. A gift, not an obligation. Dad's dating a kind woman named Susan, and he's healing. I sent Mom a birthday card via Sophie, a small step toward reconciliation. The scars on my back remain, reminders of my strength. Michael and I bought a house, hosting dinner parties in our big kitchen, chili-free, thankfully. We're trying for kids, and I'm determined to be a mom who loves without conditions. The worst moment, Mom's assault, led to the best. A foundation helping hundreds, a stronger family built on respect, and a life surrounded by love, not demands. Sophie and Nathan married last month in a heartfelt ceremony. Sophie's vows to Nathan, "You taught me love is about giving to someone who deserves it, not getting everything I want," moved everyone. Mom sent flowers with a card. "Congratulations, Sophie, I'm proud of who you've become." Sophie cried happy tears. "We're all going to be okay."